Hey friends, welcome to day 42 of the 90-day video challenge starting 2020 on the right foot. Today was a cold day, but not as cold as yesterday.
It was a cold day. I was kind of worried because I got a text message from tenants that the water was not flowing, that we had frozen pipes. And that was a bit scary because we've had burst pipes there before.
Twice.
But not today. We're not doing a three-peat.
Yeah. I know, the first time I ever went over there, whenever she called me, it was gushing down the side of the house.
Yeah.
It was a second-story duplex.
Yeah.
And just gushing down the side of the house and down the street. It was crazy.
Well, and it's the craziest thing because this house has been there for 115 years. And to our knowledge, this has never happened before, but we've had some bitterly cold north wind. And it is 115 years old, and it is just wood siding. And that north wind just cuts through there. It has been an unfortunate turn of events the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And the poor tenants, they're like, what do we do?
Leave the water running.
Even with leaving the water running.
So, anyway, it did get warmer today. The sun came out, and so I think we're on the uphill swing of this little cold snap that we're having. But it's also day 8 of the Draw the Circle Prayer Challenge. 40 days of prayer, 40 days of challenging ourselves to get better. I hope that you're doing it with us. And today, we talked about one God idea. So what is one God idea? What does that phrase mean?
Well, so I'm not going to reference really what he talked about in the book, but it is taking an idea that God has given you during your quiet time and being able to just see him reveal it in 10,000 different ways. Okay, where if it's your idea, you can typically only see it from one perspective. And whenever it's God and it's his idea, then he can say, did you think about this? And what about this? And what about this? All ways that he's able to use something that he's created that can seem so ordinary to be just phenomenally impacting on the world.
Okay.
You can use the example, but...
Yeah. Well, that's good. And that's a good sort of introduction into what he did say. He used the example in the story today of George Washington Carver. I don't know if any of you know who that is, but he was quite the scientist, I think, farmer scientist, agriculturalist. He had quite a reputation. He discovered crop rotation. Mm-hmm. So they were having trouble in, the early part of the 20th century. I was trying to see if it was back in like the 19th century, but it was the first part of the 20th century. They were having trouble, and so he came up with the idea of crop rotation, changing the crop that you put in the ground. Trouble was, whenever they changed the crop to peanuts, they ended up with too many peanuts.
They could only see one use of it.
Right, and so they just rotted. And so the interesting thing about this, I thought, was George Washington Carver would get up and go pray, and as he would pray, he started asking God, why did you create the universe? God said, that's way too much information for you. Go smaller. And he says, okay, well, what about man? And he said, that's too much. Go smaller. Well, why'd you create plants? And as I think about that, how often do we try to be a little too broad in what it is that we ask or what it is that we try to find information on?
Well, and he even said go further, not just plants. And he finally said peanut.
Yeah, he got it all the way down to the peanut, which was the actual thing that he was wanting to know. Mm-hmm. And so he came up with over 10,000 uses for the peanut because as he would pray and God kept saying, think smaller, he finally got down to the point where he could focus on something and God could reveal different ins and outs, different pieces, different parts that he was able to use to come up with all of these different uses for peanuts.
I didn't even realize most of the different uses.
Peanuts are in like almost everything.
Everything.
It's funny, when a guy that I used to work with, his son has a peanut allergy. And whenever they discovered that is when he was a baby. And he was like, it's in everything. And you just don't think about it. But yeah, I mean, peanuts are like everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was one thing about what God can reveal whenever we are specific about what it is that we ask about, what it is we're looking for. When God gives us a thought, when he gives us an idea, try to bring it down as simply as you can. So what is the difference between a God idea and a good idea?
Well, where I led with was my version of that. A good idea is, hey, this might be something worth trying, but a God idea is something that once you're into it, you just know you're there, and it just gets bigger and bigger.
So he talks about God ideas. At their church, which is similar to what we do at Elevation, they have a phrase for the year. And he said it's not some catchy phrase that rhymes, like learning to lean in 2013, which I think was funny. But the year that they did the book, he said this year's theme is simply get into God's presence. And so that's what they focus on for a year is a theme. At Elevation, we have a word. So pastor has a word for the church. We typically have a word for our family, and then we'll have a word for ourselves. So we've talked about that. We hope you guys have been praying over what your word's going to be for 2020, and that you can use that to sort of drill down into, to bring it into sort of a modern phrase. Everybody likes, I want to drill down the analytics. Okay. So you can drill down into the word and really let God show you what he wants you to get from the word. And so the last piece of it was the modern mystic A.W. Tozer believed that a low view of God is the cause of 100 lesser evils, but a high view of God is the solution to 10,000 problems. And that's like my life in a nutshell. Is what is my view of God? What do I think that God's bigger than? Is he bigger than my fear of financial things? Is he bigger than our marriage? Is he bigger than, our job? What is it that we believe that God is bigger than? And what is it that we believe that he's smaller than? Is he smaller than my fear of financial issues? Is he smaller than my struggles in our marriage? So what your view of God is determines what you believe about it.
Mm-hmm. My Wednesday Bible study teacher, too, she talked about whenever she was being introduced to the self-image, that she kind of pushed back against it, that your self-image as well, what you think about yourself, speaks to what you think about God as well. Because you say, I am X, Y, or Z. So if you say, I am enough, I am worthy, I am, fearless, I am courageous, then that's your view of God. If you say, I'm stupid, I'm lazy, I'm all of these things, that reflects what you believe about God, if you're a Christian.
Because God said, I am.
Mm-hmm.
When Moses said, who should I tell him sent me? God said, tell him, I am sent you. So, check your view, check your thoughts, and let God reveal to you his God-sized idea for your life. You might be facing down right now some struggles. Maybe you're struggling in your marriage. Maybe this blended family thing's not quite as easy as we thought it was going to be. Maybe you have some things that you need to work out so that God can work through you. So let your view of God, or I shouldn't say let your view of God will determine the next steps that you take in life. So, tomorrow, Dream Factory, right?
Yep. Tomorrow's the Dream Factory, but I do want to say that we're super proud of Allison. She got her boards back today, and she passed her boards, and so she's one step closer to being a cosmetologist.
Yeah.
Now she's got to jump through the hoops for Texas. So if you're in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, looking for somebody to do your hair, then hit us up, and we can get you in contact with Allison.
Yeah, she apparently called April tonight when we were in a meeting. She didn't answer, so then she called me, and she rarely ever calls me, so I figured I better answer the phone. And so I answered the phone, and I was like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Where's Mom?" I was like, "She's busy." And she's like, "Okay, well, tell her to call me." I was like, "Well, what do you need?" She goes, "Oh, well, she wanted me to call her when I found out the results of my test." And how'd you do? She's like, "I passed." I was like, "Cool." So I was really excited because she told me before she told you.
Yeah.
So, but that was only because you were busy.
It's only because I didn't answer the phone.
Yeah.
I know.
So, but anyway, we're super excited for her. So, tomorrow, Dream Factory. All right. What are you thankful for?
I went first yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Pretty sure I
I
did.
think maybe you did.
I
Dadgummit.
did. It's okay. I'll go again.
No, I'll go.
I'm thankful.
No.
No.
Shh. You just steal my thunder. You might say what I'm going to say. I don't know. So I'm thankful for times like tonight whenever Mom's busy and I can get some news before her, because it's fun that I'm not always the one that gets the news first, because she's here at the house more than I am, and she's here when kids get home from school, and for some reason several years ago she scared them to death to ever call me at work. And so the only one that'll ever really text or call me at work is Lauren. And Jaden does occasionally now, but so it's like I don't ever get any of the news first. But I'm thankful that she was busy tonight, and Allison and I could share the moment of her telling me that she passed her test.
Okay. That's a good thing to be thankful for. I'm thankful that Rockford got it all set up to be able to shoot video, and we can roll. And we had one test roll tonight that he said, do this and do this and do this. So I'm thankful that I have the ability now to clearly go, okay, this is what he needs. Just gotta slow down. But I'm thankful.
Okay.
Constructive criticism.
Something like that.
It was constructive.
I know.
You weren't. You're just like, you took like 3 gaps.
This is what you got to do. So, okay. All right, guys. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Leave some comments. Give us those thumbs up. Share it on social media. You can share these videos on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. You can share them here on YouTube. But, you know, we want to make sure that as many people as possible can join in and be a part of the prayer challenge, be a part of the things that are going to be happening in 2020. I'm amazed at how much these videos are being viewed, and we just want to continue to encourage you to be a part of the community. Let us know that you're here. Let us know that you see them, and we'll look forward to continuing these conversations. So, I think that's it for tonight, right?
I think so.
We're all tapped out.
Yeah. Are you going to have a, what is it called again?
We got to get done with these videos a little earlier. We've been getting later and later, and my sleep has been getting less and less, so it's making me cranky. So,
So that's
anyway, all right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.